Good evening, this is Robbie Silver, and this is my presentation for communication theory on music lyrics and video effects on cognitive health. So why music? Well, music is an outlet to express emotion, it inspires, it enhances learning, it's imaginative, and it embodies the spirit. While all these are true, however, overexposure to certain types of song lyrics and music videos demoralizes American households, leading to long-term negative behavioral effects. This is a brief history of how music adapted through the centuries. The classical melodies of the 17 and 1800s invoked simple emotions such as sadness and happiness. During this time, music was a luxury as the working middle class could not afford the instruments of the time. However, they found other ways to play and enjoy music. Music changed in the 1900s. Music was romanticized. Each decade mirrored times of social movements, tragedy, triumph, defiance, and joy. Music was universal as the economy was modernized. Beethoven is pictured up at the top. Definitely not a friendly looking fellow. I think he looks like Grumpy Cat. This is analysis on music through the decades. First, you have jazz in the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties, and this talks about good times, and also brought out famous dances such as the Charleston. In the 1930s, you had the blues, which reflected the Great Depression. Then in the 1940s, you had swing, um, which took place during World War I. Music was very much an outlet during this time, as it was used to deal with the war. Rock and roll surfaced in the 1950s with Elvis Presley after World War II. Then in the 1960s, you have the introduction of folk, soul, and more rock and roll. And this reflected the civil rights and social change. Then in the 1970s, you have glam and disco, with also outlaw country and R&B. And this was a reflection of the Vietnam War and the peace movement. Many songs during this time had lyrics that described drug use, however. Then in the 1980s, you had pop, hard rock, and electronic. Defiance and individualism was prevalent during this time, with songs like Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper, and Material Girl by Madonna. Lastly, in the 1990s, you had pop bands such as the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, as well as Britney Spears, and you also had hip hop and rap. This week in class, we had a discussion board on the effects of video games on children and teens. It was evident that playing violent video games invoked psychological arousal. This is the same with music. Psychological arousal is measured via the heart rate, skin conductance, and respiratory rate. We all know that music affects moods. And overexposure to a particular mood increases the likelihood of negative behaviors and thoughts. So who's vulnerable? Well, children and young teens are vulnerable, as it is more difficult for them to determine what is real and what is not real. New media technologies introduce new ways to listen to music and watch music videos. MTV was a television network that was popular in the 1980s and 90s. Music downloads took over the market with the introduction of the internet. Now we have YouTube that allows instant access to music videos, and Pandora and Spotify that allows people to customize playlists. Shazam is an application on your smartphone that tells you what song is playing, which comes in handy when you're listening to a song and you can't remember what it's called. The danger with these types of sites is that children and teens can instantly access music videos that depict sex, violence, drugs, and alcohol. Pandora and Spotify may be dangerous as well, as when a person is feeling angry, they can click on their favorite playlist, listen to angry songs, and feel angry longer. Or when your significant other Or when your significant other cheats on you, then you can go to your playlist and listen to breakup songs over and over again. The cultivation theory, as it pertains to this, younger generations rely on instant video streaming via YouTube and other applications, thus leading to overexposure to themes that demoralize the American household, such as premarital sex, drugs, alcohol, and feelings of aggression, depression, and guilt. We are cultivated to believe that certain lifestyles are tolerable, thus my Miley Cyrus twerking example. For the Christian worldview part of this assignment, I chose the verse 1 Corinthians 13:12. It states, "For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know, even as also I am now." This shows that when people conduct self-reflections, they are able to see the truth more clearly. What was once a dark reality for a person is now light. Music as an emotional outlet exposes ways to allow individuals the opportunity to express their feelings. Each decade in history contains its own economic and social changes, and as those occur, the tone of music changes with it. Today's technological advances in the music industry calls for interactive ways where people can express their emotions independently. To avoid the snowball effect of overexposure to explicit song lyrics and music videos, individuals must cognitively perform self-checks so that they do not fall into demoralizing lifestyles.